All right. All righty. Islam, everyone. All right, we are going to start the class as we always started by reading chapter 25 out of the Holy Quran. Circle 7, divinely prepared by Prophet Noble Julie. Oh, there we go. If you are in agreement with it, affirm by saying Islam after I finish reading it. All righty. Ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother has given you stock. Let the bonds of affection therefore unite you with thy brothers and sisters, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when you separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him out. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy father contribute to the support of his whole nation, and his care be continued to you all, and your love to each other. All right, Islam. How many people listened to the show last night? I ask it every Tuesday. I get the same response. Well, you know how many people know that we have a Blog Talk radio show every Tuesday? Do you know that you can go and listen to the archive? So if you didn't listen to it last night, you can go back and listen to it. And the archives are free. You don't have to pay to listen to them. All right. So last night we spoke about a couple of things. We spoke about things because too often we as Moors seem to think that we have to go and get permission from somebody, or we have to get somebody's okay, or louder. All right. I don't know. Louder. We have to get somebody's approval, authorization. We just don't seem to comprehend what government is, and we're constantly in it's challenging for us to come out of this mental space that says we have to go get permission. We have to ask somebody else. We're not yet back at a place where we can rely on our own reasoning. And we have to get back to that place. That's what all of this is about, getting back to that place where we are competent to handle our own affairs. Now, today, we're going to be having Sister RahsMariah Bey give us a little astrology lesson, or I should say big astrology lesson. And she'll be beginning that portion of the class, but while in the meantime, we're going to talk about some stuff. How about that? How many people have been paying? How many people study all the time? Does it seem like every time something happens, it's like neon lights? You absolutely know what's going on. It's so crystal clear. Have you noticed that? And then sometimes when you talk to some of your family and friends, they're like absolutely clueless. It's like, did you see that? And they're like, see what? See what? Did you hear what he just said? What did he say? Well, we said the same time. But it's just like, it's because you know what? It's like once you get a little bit of information and you start studying, it's like everything is a neon sign. So I'm looking at this. You know, I spent a week with my dad, and my dad He lives on MSNBC 24/7. He gets up in the morning, MSNBC. All the way through the night, I'm so tired of MSNBC. So today I said, or yesterday, the days are running together. I think it was yesterday. I said, doesn't it seem like they just say the same thing over and over and over again all day long? They just regurgitate the same thing over and over and over and over again. And I'm like, okay, they just said that like 2-3 hours ago. Why are we watching this again? Can we watch something? I mean, I'm my dad, I'm from a different generation. You just don't say anything. You go along with the flow. You don't say, can we watch something else? No, I'm a different time frame. You don't say stuff like that. So anyway, I'm watching this TV, and I hear them talking about this woman that they allegedly, they threw it. I know most people don't even know the word allegedly, right? But they threw it in there because they don't want to get sued. But most people don't hear alleged. Allegedly drove into a crowd of people. Have you heard this? And I'm like, and first time I heard it, it went right over my head. Second time, I was like, allegedly. Right. So I'm like, allegedly. Has anybody heard the girl speak? Has anybody heard her side of the story? Everybody is saying what happened, and then you got this news reporter saying allegedly drove into a crowd of people with a child in the back seat. I was like, okay, let me think about this. What mother does that? Could she have lost control of the car? Right? Now, I'm wondering, because see, a lot of people, look, we have got to wake up out of the sleep we are in. For real, for real, for real. Everybody is mesmerized with these new cars, right? You know the new cars are computerized completely? You know that they can disable your car? Now, if they can disable your car, don't you think they can take control of your car? So I'm listening to this, and I'm like, she intentionally with her baby in the back seat. Was she mad at somebody? What was it, Rose? What was the story? Nobody has heard from this woman, right? Then I hear over and over Donald Trump. Have everybody? Look. Put your emotions on the back burner and look at what is it about Donald? It's like Donald Trump is so crass and vulgar. If he was ever to become their president of the United States of America, he would be the joke of the world. The joke of the world. As if Ronald Reagan and the Bush boys wasn't enough, you're going to throw Donald Trump on the table. Well, it's all bull crap. Bull crap, because look at this. Now, let's look at this logically, because, see, I'm going someplace here. We have this sister who allegedly drove into a crowd of people with her baby in the backseat, right? Then we got Donald Trump calling Hillary Clinton a Yiddish word for the penis. All right, and now yesterday they didn't burp it out at all. Today they burping it out. You know what I mean? Yesterday, let's hear what he said. And I don't know the word he used. Some schlong. He schlong. I mean, they repeated it over and over and over. And they pulled out just that portion. Let's hear what Donald Trump called Hillary Clinton. Schlong. What the fuck is that? What is that? Then I'm like, I'm on Google. How do you spell that? Donald Trump called Hillary Clinton. And they put it on there on Google. So I'm like, oh. So now I know how to spell it. I go and do Google it, and I find out it's a Yiddish word for penis. So he called her a penis, and then, I don't know. Well, you know, you know what? And then yesterday they're blurping it all over. I mean, shlong. That's all you. I'm like, today, what is it? Donald Trump called Hillary Clinton bitch, and I'm like, what is it about today? They didn't beep it out all day yesterday. Today they're beeping it out, right? So now I'm like, okay. And I'm looking at Donald Trump. Donald Trump looks like somebody with it. All that money, all that so-called money, and he couldn't get a better tan? Really? Yeah. Well, all that money, and he looks raggedy. All right? So I'm like, look at this man. He is who you're going to send up. Look, he's alienating everybody. Everybody, right? So now, let's say he becomes president. He's got to go over to the Middle East and talk to him. I don't think he better get off that plane. Because most of the people in the so-called Middle East are Muslims. Look, he's going to have to take, what's that, Air Force One. Because he can't fly commercial. Because to fly to the Middle East, you got to take, like, the Middle East Airlines, and it's all Middle Eastern people on there, and the majority of the so-called Middle Eastern people are Muslims. All right? So I'm like, mostly everywhere outside of the United States, do you know the people are Muslim? So where is he going to go and talk? Here in England? He can't go to France because they don't like him. Russia can't stand him. So he can't go there. So the only place he can go, if he wants to talk to Syria, he got to go to England because he can't go to Syria. If he wants to talk to France, he got to go to England because France don't like him. They might try and assassinate him like they tried to assassinate the French president. All right? He can't go to Saudi Arabia because a lot of people in Saudi Arabia are Muslim. But see, he has, look, one of the things I love about the people of the so-called Middle East is they don't care about business if you mess with their religion. Look, it's over and done with. All right? Business, look, they will take you out because they know somebody else is waiting to get in your spot. So I'm looking at this. And then the other thing, there was something else that they threw up on the screen. What was it? Oh, my goodness. It'll come to me in a minute. But anyway, I'm looking at this, and I'm like, oh, the president of Russia. The president of Russia was there. They were saying some disparaging things, once again, about the United States of America. They're not talking about the United States because ain't nobody sitting in the seats of the United States. Because we all can't get along. The Moors can't get along. We all divided about, you know, how we are not family. So ain't nobody sitting in the seats of the United States, so they talking about the United States of America. So I'm like, Russia, they got all of this stuff going on, right? All of this stuff going on. And I'm like, okay. And now the most obvious glaring thing that's going on is Donald Trump. And they talking about millions of people are going to see him because it's not Donald Trump running for president. It's the Donald Trump show. And, they go to the Donald Trump show. So I'm like, see, this is what they do when they got something serious going on over here. Exactly. It's a diversion. Exactly. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? What is going on? Because this is just too in your. I mean, they got Donald Trump. No, it's not. It's not even. It is comical. It's you're right.
That's what it's attracting.
But look at it. Exactly. But look at this now. What was it? A lot of these other news reporters, when they go to say certain words, they will first say, wait a minute, can I say that on the air? Because they know FCC will shut them down, right? But they got Donald Trump blurting out profanity on the air, and they're all repeating it. FCC has not come down at all, right? So I'm like, okay, this is so in your face, obvious that they're doing a mass distraction. And you know what? The majority of people are falling for it. But maybe not, because they use these polls, which means nothing. But they said 50% of the people who alleged to be members of the United States of America said they would be absolutely embarrassed if Trump became president. Yeah. 50%, that's a big number. And the more he speaks, the greater that number is going to be. He will never be able to go anywhere and talk business for the United States of America Corporation, because before he even got into seat, he has alienated everybody. So he has shot himself into the foot. So he's out. What's next? Who's their real candidate for so-called presidency? It really doesn't matter, because they did this big thing between Hillary and Obama, and I can tell you, I knew Hillary wasn't going to win, because that's the good old boys. They ain't letting Hillary in. The way Donald Trump threw that profanity on his head, that's how they talk behind closed doors. And worse, you'll be absolutely shocked at the way these so-called executives speak when they get into their little meetings. You just have to sit in one of them one time to be clear. Oh, these are some gutter snipes. They just got a little opportunity, but they are from the gutter. For real. Really. They might walk around in these expensive suits and expensive shoes. Overkill. They are gutter snipes. So I'm like, I'm like, it's going to be interesting what happens, what unfolds, because they're doing a massive distraction for a reason. So don't get all caught. I said that to say this. Don't get all caught up in the ridiculousness of Trump or the laid backness of what's her name, Hillary, because Hillary is trying to come off like, I'm the mother of humanity, I'm concerned for my children. No, you're not. That's why you campaigned on behalf of your husband in '94 to put people in prison forever. So your mother doesn't do that to her children. Mother's like, oh no, give him another chance. Don't do that. No, she went out there and said, no, put him in prison forever. So I said all of that to say, we got to really pay attention. We got to put our emotions aside and look at things super objectively, because there's something on the horizon, and it ain't this presidential election. Because if you paid attention to that Bush election fiasco, ain't no people voting nobody in. They was already in long before the so-called election, I should say so-called make you feel good like you're participating election. Because that's all it is. Nobody was voting. That's all it is. So, let me see what else I was thinking about. Because, when you start studying, things start popping off in your head. And you know what? I'm telling you, you need to start having, people are always talking about, we need a study group. No, you need a strategy group. You need to study at home and then get together and talk strategy. You don't need the wrong S word. You need a strategy group, not a study group, right? So I was talking with somebody, and I was saying, You know, and I'll say what's important, why you need a strategy group, because when you get into a strategy group and you start putting your idea across to other people, you're going to have all this ping, 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 ping going on. You're going to shock yourself, because I'm telling you, I will be explaining something to someone, and even as I am saying it, I am surprising myself. So, I was talking with somebody the other day, and I said, you know, in order for people to be in business, because all of this is about a business. It's either company, it's all about company/corporation. It's all about the movements of debits and credits. So I was talking about how all of these companies, I don't care if they're a corporation or a company, every last one of them, in order for them to do business, they got to be what? Registered with the state, right? Registered with the state. And they almost have indemnity insurance, right? And as soon as I said that, I had a ping, bing, and I was like, registered, indemnity insurance. That's the motor vehicle process. I was like, wait a minute. Because, right, when you go, they compel you to register your automobile, right? That's similar to registering a business, isn't it? Did anybody ever ask, what's the purpose of registering? What is the reason? They can't just come and say, oh, well, you know, it's the law. No, you explain that. Well, no, because that's a presumption. It's either you sent communication and they wrote you back and said that, or it's documented somewhere in their gazillions of statutes, right? So that presumption got to be factual, who was it? Somebody made a remark in the media. They actually broadcasted it. So many things is going on. I don't even have time to write them all down. But there was somebody who made some sort of a slanderous remark about someone. It turned out not to be true, and now they turned around and sued them. And I've been saying, look, you cannot make a claim unless you have verified documentation to support it, because then, even though you may be 1,000% right, the person you're suing, the person you're suing can then turn around and sue you for slander. So you can't do things prematurely. But anyways, in order to have a business, you have to register it with the state. You also have to have insurance, and they compel you to do that with the motor vehicle process, because none of us have really asked. None of us really know what is the purpose of me registering my property. What is that supposed to? You can't tell me that it's so that my property is protected, because how many people know anyone whose property was stolen and they were able to retrieve it through their registration process? Anybody? You know anybody who? Underhandedly trying to steal your property, but do you have verifiable? That's presumption still. You might have something there, but it's still presumption. So then the other thing, because now the presumption, I'm not talking presumption as well, but I can speculate possibly, because I know with the state, they say in order for you to have a business, you have to be registered with the state. And not only do you need to register to do business with that state, you have to have indemnity insurance. Now, I know that to be a fact, because I know at least one business that got shut down. They come and they put the chains on the door if you don't have insurance, and they find out about it. Yep. Yes. Because if you're the reason you have, as a business, you have to have indemnity insurance, because if any of the public comes in and in some way is injured, you have to compensate them. That's mandatory. So now here they go with this motor vehicle process. And, that insurance would compensate them. Yes, it is. Even here in this area, on this continent, you are in business incorporated. No, we're not talking about trembling. We're talking about, we're comparing the fact that a business has to be registered and have indemnity insurance, and they're compelling the people to register their property and have indemnity insurance as though they are some type of business, because only a business that has to be registered and have indemnity insurance in case of liability. Well, health insurance is a little bit different, only because it's so obvious that they can't compel you to get it. They can't. No. They penalize people who don't know that, first of all, you never had to complete an Internal Revenue Service corporate tax return. See, and the reason that the people get penalized is because they think that they are corporations. And corporations are the ones that are obligated to provide the employee with health coverage. If they choose to take it, they have to provide them with that health coverage, because they are engaging in a privilege of business. So, and then they have all of these people who are working so that they can have the profit. All right, now, and I can tell you that what's coming in is like pennies is what's trickling down to the people, not the massive amounts that they're receiving. It's just pennies, because remember, though, the whole name of the game is how much can I keep in my back pocket? And every single thing that they do is all about getting revenue, getting income, getting credit so that they can do their credit and debit on a private side personally. Now, and one of the ways that you can see that is if you go, how many people have ever looked at the Social Security Act of 1935? Anybody else? We have got to start being researchers and investigators. They have the Social Security Act. They have the health insurance thing, that the Obama Plan Act, suggestion, whatever. All of these things, we hear it, and we rely once again on someone else to tell us what does it all mean. Internal Revenue Service. Many of us rely on someone else, but we don't know what it means. We don't know who it applies to. We know nothing, and it's all right there. It's public information, right? Public information. How many of us have in our lifetime, or still do, I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot, complete the Internal Revenue Service request every year? I mean, completing the Internal Revenue Service form every year. The 1040, 1040A, whatever, the 1040EC, whatever, 1041, which all of it is the same. All of it is the same. I don't care what number they use, it's all the same. How many, in our lifetime, guy, I know probably everybody here has done this. How many have gone and looked up the actual verbiage in the statutes, not the Internal Revenue Service Code? Because, see, that's private policy of the Internal Revenue Service Corporation. I mean the Internal Revenue Service statute and the statute at large of the United States of America. How many people have gone and looked up that besides myself? Yes. Excise tax is what it all is, which is unconstitutional. And there's case law that says that, which is in the book. But my point is, we have all of us, and some of us still, for whatever reason, I'm not saying tomorrow stop doing all of this stuff. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, in order for you to make an informed decision, you have to have information. You can't just, oh, well, I was listening to NE last night, and she said, yeah, there's no law that says you don't have, there's no law that says you have to file an Internal Revenue Service request form. That's not good. And so I stopped. That's not good. Because I'm going to tell you, if they come to you and you're not able to stand on why you made that decision, they're going to eat you up. It's not just them. It's everything. We have been slow-walked into doing a lot of things, and we don't question it. Even now, we've listened to a lot of DVDs, a lot of lectures. We know that there's a lot of things that we are participating in that's absolutely unconstitutional, unlawful. They are absolutely discretionary, but we have not become proactive and gone and looked for the relevant statutes. Not somebody's opinion, not my writing, not anybody's writing. My writing will give you clues as to where to go and find things, because that's what the writings of other people did for me. But what we all have to do is we've got to go and we've got to look up these things and we've got to read them. And we've got to think about what it is that they're saying. We've got to really analyze it, turn it over in our brain, and weigh it against the American Constitution, 1791. And once you do that, you've got to come up with some kind of a strategy. What are you going to do about it? I mean, it's all right if you do nothing. But if you're going to do something, you need information, and the only way you can get that is if you study, and you got to think about it, and you got to come up with a strategy. Now, I'll tell you something. Let me see. How did I even get to looking at this? How many people have heard that in the whole motor vehicle process is under the Secretary of the Department of Transportation, United States Secretary of Transportation? How many have heard this? You've heard, all right. In order for them to even issue a citation, this is what I heard, they have to get approval from the United States Secretary of Transportation. How many have heard that? You never heard that? You've heard that? Anybody else? Anybody else? All right. I'm a little bit more intensive with my listening. I have quite a few DVDs, audios that I have listened to over the years, lectures, and also writings by the modern Europeans. And I have heard this and I have read this. So I decided, let me ask the United States Secretary of Transportation a few questions. But before I can ask him a few questions, I need to find the verifiable documentation that says they are in charge of the transportation. So I went looking for the motor vehicle policy. And lo and behold, I found this. Now, this is the first writing took place in 1887, and it's called the Interstate Commerce Act. Did you hear what I said? Interstate Commerce Act. 1887. Then they revised it because in 1887 they were only talking about the railroad. Now, if I know quite a bit about railroads because my brother is like a master draftsman. When he was a little boy, he was meticulously with rulers drawing planes and trains, meticulously, like in 3D. The 3D? 3D. So I know a lot about trains. And then, because he had this fascination about trains, I learned so much about trains. Like the first trains were so crappy. They were very dangerous, and then they souped them up. How many people remember the super trains? The luxury liners. They had like a dining cart in there with tablecloth, china. They had like a lounge area where you can dress up, smoke. And they had like a bed chamber area where you can go to. I mean, it was something else. The trains were like, what do you call them? They were like ocean liners. They were so tall. They had like several floors. They were phenomenal. I'm the only one that know about it. They were absolutely phenomenal. And they would have these huge competitions because one train would want to get all the people, so they would lower their prices, and another one would raise their prices. If they did like a whole revamping, they would raise the prices. If they wanted to capture a certain group of people, they would raise them even higher. So they came up with the Interstate Commerce Act to protect the people from the train, railroad. It's all in here. So then they did an upgrade. This is 1887, right? Then they revamped it. 1978. This turned into this. Right? Now it is in this Interstate Commerce Act that they reserve, where is it? Section 1 for the Department of Transportation. Now they haven't written it yet, but they wrote Section 4, the Interstate Commerce Act, right? Now, the Interstate Commerce Act, what could it be about? And they have a Department of Transportation and Interstate Commerce section, 2 sections, right? So I'm like reading it, and the Interstate Commerce section talks about transportation. So what was the point of the Department of Transportation if the Interstate Commerce is talking about transportation? So they get into some interesting definitions in here because, all the time their policies start with definitions. And it tells you who this department is, who this policy, because this is a policy and procedure. It's not law. All right? This applies to motor carrier and motor common carrier. Now, it says motor carrier means a motor common carrier and a motor contract carrier. Contradiction, right? Still didn't tell you what it is, right? So then I go to motor common carrier. Means a person holding himself out to the general public to provide motor vehicle transportation for compensation. Are y'all holding yourselves out for compensation? Yet they're imposing this policy on you. And there's more. Because then it gets to Interstate Commerce Commission. There's an Interstate Commerce Commission, or there was. So I wanted to see who they have a section, delegation of authority. Interesting, right? We're always asking for the delegation of authority. Here it is, delegation of authority. Who delegated them authority? President of the United States. The President of the United States delegated them authority to do what? Make sure that these various businesses are operating in fairness across so-called state lines. That was their job. That's their whole job. But guess what? In 1982, they added some more stuff. And you know what's interesting about reading this? This is why it takes time. All right? Because this is 1982, then they'll say, such and such policy is as it was defined in Section 105, and then you got to go back two sections ago, two policies ago, to find what they're talking about. So now, who could they possibly be writing this for? Who's supposed to know all of this stuff? And how can you? All right, so now I'm looking at 1982, and this is where they fill out the Department of Transportation section. Section 1, which was reserved in 1970, 1978, it was reserved. Nothing was written there. But in 1982, they filled it out. They give you the purpose, Department of Transportation. Well, who does it apply to? Railroad, highway, traffic safety, aviation, Coast Guard, urban mass transportation, maritime. I don't see nothing in here that applies to people who are traveling in their private capacity. But I haven't gotten to 1982 yet. Do I need to get to 1982? Maybe not, because I'm going to read it anyway. But maybe not, because in 1994, they rewrote it again. All right? Now they have motor vehicle safety, National Driver Register, National Automobile Title Information System, Commercial Motor Vehicle Safety, Commercial Motor Vehicle Operators, Motor Carrier Safety, Participation in International Registration Plan and International Fuel Tax Agreement. Anything sound like it applies to people operating in their private capacity? No. But I'm going to review all of this, but I'm going to review it only for my own edification, because they will be referring to this at some point, or maybe not, because in 1995, they trash all this. And they rewrite this whole new thing. And they abolish of Interstate Commerce Commission. They're abolishing the commission, and they create Surface Transportation Board. So I'm going to read this through, because now I don't know who this applies to. But they have a whole section 1 that tells you what they abolished. So I'm going to read it through. But here in section 1, they talk about the general provision. Now, the general provisions apply to rail. So I started reading it, and I said, let me read it through. Board means the Surface Transportation Board. Car service includes, and I was like, car service. We finally get to us, or so I thought. Did you know that they call railroad cars, the individual, they got like sections, the different sections of the train, they call them cars. That's the cars they're talking about. And then they specify it in here. And I was like, look as that. They dropped the rail car, and they just left the word car. So now, and then they say car service. Now you might think they're talking about you, but they're not. So I'm exactly. So I said, I definitely have to read through this, but let me tell you, this whole section, I only got this portion of it. All right? This that they rewrote, this is supposedly the motor vehicle program, right? But the entire discussion is almost 600 pages. Now, who would be reading that? Who would be reading that? But I carved out just the motor vehicle, so-called motor vehicle portion of it. And I think I still have more to print. But this is just 1995. So now, if they changed it in 94, what was it? 94, 82, 78, and 1887, chances are between 1995 and 2015, they probably changed it or abolished it again. So I still have some more researching to do, right? But just on what I have pulled up, I got this to sift through. I have no idea. But, hold on, but my point is this. When the prophet said study, he wasn't lying. Because, see, this is ammunition. Number one, I know, but the reason I'm saying it's ammunition is this is ammunition to show how ridiculous it is. Because I don't care if you comb through this or not. I think it would be a good lesson, but because you need to know how to research, you need to know how to read, you need to know how to discern, you need to know how to, because they play games. They will, and see, in 1995, they didn't abolish this whole thing, but in 1994, hold on a minute, 1994, all of this was enforced, right? This was 1994 going back to 1887. So in 1994, they can make a reference to something they wrote in 1887 or 1978 or 1982. So if you don't have it, if you haven't read it, then they can pull a scam on you. Not that you have to have it. You see what I'm saying? But because when you get it, look, let me just say this. This whole right to travel is a huge moneymaker. Huge. And in order for you to get to the place where you can say, this does not apply to me, you have to first be able to rip it apart. Right? You have to rip it apart. If we got one person, we're putting together a team to analyze this whole thing. You got only one time to make a first impression, right? One time to make a good first impression. After that, it's a wrap, because you only got one time to cut, because you can't come back and cut again, right? So now my thinking is, we have to read through all of this. We have to find all of the players, because we have to know who to write to and ask questions. And when we gather enough information, we have to know who we need to subpoena. Right? Can't make presumptions, because if you do, you'll get sued. We have to know who to subpoena. And when we bring this into a proper court of law, and we ask those people to present verifiable documentation where the people have to register their property and then get indemnity insurance, or they will get kidnapped, or in the case of the sister down in Texas, murdered. You know, please provide the verifiable documentation where the people who are not engaging in any acts of commerce are compelled by people who are not federal employees to do this. We have to be able to, because once we get that down, every single police will never touch the people again, because now we have a suit that we can go to reference them. You know, we can refer to this suit, because the presumption is, oh, well, you know, the state law, it says that you have to register your property, and you have to have a driving instrument, right? Isn't that what they say? Isn't that what they say? From the Constitution that states can't make right laws, right? States can't write laws. The Congress of the United States can write laws, but the laws that they can, well, first of all, there is no Congress sitting right now. That's why there has been no laws written since the American Constitution, actually since the 13th Bill of Rights, original 13th Bill of Rights was written. That got in prior to 1861 when Congress adjourned in Senadia.
I was listening to a video today that said the only way Congress can fight that is that they have a constitutional convention. But see, in order for them to have a constitutional convention, that would be the state. Well, first of all, in order for them to call a constitutional convention, there has to be a proper Congress sitting, and there is no Congress sitting right now. It's executives of a corporation sitting. That's not Congress, because Congress adjourned in Senadia in 1861, and we are the Congress because this is our home. And for people who know a little bit about sports, we have home rule advantage. So only the Aboriginal indigenous people of this land can write law. We is what? That's right. No, they're not. They're not the government. The reason they're not the government is because this land is an ancestral estate. Now, there's a lot of melanated people running around thinking they're buying this, that, and the other. You're not buying anything because you can't. There's also people running around talking about, I'm writing up a trust for this and that and the other, and I'm the grantor. You can never be the grantor of the land because your ancestors are the original and only grantors. And they granted it to our ancestors in perpetuity. So it's already been assigned. It's already on the record. And that's why it's imperative in a way that the people declare their nationality, more specifically because when you declare your nationality, you link back into the family, which means that you now have a lineal descent line. But as long as you're calling yourself Negro-colored black, you have no attachment to any lineal descent line because there are no people, there is no nationality called Negro-colored black. None. Nowhere. And so the goal is to get the Aboriginal indigenous people to voluntarily trade places with the true Negro-colored blacks, which is the modern Europeans. But we have to recognize that we have been mentally conditioned to believe that when they talk about Negro-colored black, they're talking about skin complexion, oh, those are the black people, those are the Negroes, or those are the colored people. The Negro colored black is not talking about skin complexion. Negro colored black is absolutely 1,000% talking about your ability to inherit. That's it. Negro colored black and bastard all means that you are ineligible to inherit because you are not a part of the original family. No, you're a modern European. You can benefit because all people are taken care of by mother, but you're never the heir, and the heir is mother. And it's so funny because I was watching I'm a caretaker or caregiver to some people, and they just love to watch. They used to love to watch Lifetime. I hated Lifetime, so I finally got them to watch like this new channel called Hallmark movie channels. Which, you know, the movies are corny, but they're positive. You know, they're corny, but they're positive. And not like Lifetime, where like everybody is some European woman is always plotting how she's going to murder somebody for whatever reason. It's so depressing, you know. So I was able to get them to no longer watch that. So they're watching the Hallmark channel, and I was watching this movie with them, and it was about this so-called European prince. It's interesting what they will say in these movies. Some of the movies are worth paying attention to, because the woman who was supposed to be the sister, what was interesting is the sister, she was the caregiver for two children, her sister's children. Her sister married this guy, but they ended up dying. All right, so the sister became the guardian for the two children. Come to find out, the son that the sister married was supposedly supposed to be prince of this so-called kingdom, but because he married this commoner, he you know, abdicated his throne or something like that. So his younger brother is now in line to be the next king, and he's a prince. So the sister brings the two children over, and she says to the brother-in-law, "How are you a prince?" And it's so amazing because he says, "Well, it's a lineal descent through my mother's line." And I was like, "Wait a minute, what did he say?" He gets to be a prince because the line goes through the mother. Of course, it should have skipped over him because he's not going to have any children. I know a lot of you sons think y'all having babies, but y'all not. Y'all not giving birth. So it can only continue through the mother's line because she's the one that gives birth. And that's the whole trading places. It's always about who is the mother because she is the lineal descent. She will be the heir. Always, and then they said it in the movie. I was like, wow, look at this. So I'm not saying that it's true because they said it in the movie, but it is true. And they said it in the movie. But I had another thinking that I wanted to ask because I was listening to this conversation. I think I was at the juice bar, and these young children in high school, they were talking about history, and the boy was like so hard. I was like, oh, just hang me now, because what they were saying was so not correct. But then they was talking about this person who was in California, and this person who's in like Louisiana, and this person who's in New York, and then I started to think, how do you know where you are? How do we know where we are? Really, how do we know where we are? Do you know where you are? Where are you?
supposed to be? Like you don't know? For real? You said it now. You said it. I'm just repeating what you said. So you're not clear. No, it's all right. It's just funny. No, because I was thinking, we're sitting here and we're saying that we're from New York or Massachusetts or California or Los Angeles or Germany or Russia. And I'm like, all of those are corporations. So where the hell are we really? China, Japan. Where are we? Those are all corporations. Every last one of them are corporations.
Just like today, my job, a guy was asking me, I said, well, technically speaking, I'm from Southwest Mexico. And what? Yeah. Now, if you're talking about, I said, it's a similar complex. I will have to tell you a lot. So I said, listen to the website, you can look at it. But where they call it's a corporation is from Venezuela. So, that's a corporation. And where you come from, it's a corporation too. You know what I mean? I said, yeah. Corporation.
Yeah.
I said, he said, what do you mean this is? When I was talking about something truly, religious. I said, but now, once I find out with South Mexico, where people think like, but I started to, saying the real thing when I'm talking. It comes from where it's been put in South America.
All right.
That would be Southwest.
Amexem. Well, yeah. Yes, that would be Southwest Amexem. But usually we say we're from corporations. Do you realize that? We say we are from corporations. Yeah? They learn. You know what? Sometimes he does already know. Right. He does already know, and it's interesting who will come up to you and make comments to you. Like I was in the grocery store the other day with my dad, and this elderly European woman comes up to me and she says, "Did you do that yourself?" And I was like, "What do you mean? What did I do?" She, "On your head." I said, "Yeah." She said, "That's very beautiful." And I said, "Thank you." She said, "It's remarkable how you're able to do that." Right? But it's usually the elder European people that will come up and make comments like that because they know who you are. These things always happen to me either in the grocery store or going into the grocery store. Because, another time I was in the grocery store, once again, really old European woman. She's walking down the aisle, and I'm going in the opposite direction, and just as I'm getting ready to go by her, she says something like, "Your indigenous garb is beautiful. You're so regal. Your indigenous garb is so beautiful. You look so regal." So I'm looking at her, I'm like, And then another time I was going into the grocery store, and these European couples, the woman says, "Oh, you're so beautiful, blah, blah, blah. Where do you come from?" "Yeah, where do you come from?" And I said, it just popped into my head, said, "Madrid, Alaska."
And they're like, where is that? I said, right here. And the husband was like, okay, have a good day. And rushed into the store. So I was like, they know exactly. The older Europeans, they know. The younger Europeans, they're like so far out of, they don't know. Well, they know who we are, because if you look at the history, the older modern Europeans, they had the science and the history. Now, some of them used it for profit. Some of them used it to keep us down. Some of them used it to take over our vast estate. But they all knew it, and they used it in one fashion or another. Now, the new generation modern Europeans, they don't know nothing. They don't know nothing. To them, the Mason is a ritual. It's like going to college and pledging. That's it for them. That's what it's like for them. They don't know that it's the law. They don't know nothing about astronomy. They don't know that it's bringing you into government and law proper. It's a very prestigious thing that was granted to them by the Moors. They have absolutely no clue. That's why a lot of them use it haphazardly and end up in mental institutions, because they're not supposed to be. They're not supposed to be messing around with the science in negative fashion, and so when you do that, the energy will be so great that you could literally lose your mind, and that's what has happened to a lot of the modern Europeans and some of us. What? Oh no, they end up in mental institutions. It's funny because my daughter was telling me about a woman that she takes care of. I'm telling you, it's just amazing. Some of the information that comes to me. Now, how many people remember back in the day the Ouija board was the rage? Y'all remember the Ouija board? Well, the Ouija board is Moorish science. But if you mess with it and you don't know what you're doing, it will turn on you. It will turn on you. It's energy. It's just energy. But it's what it is. See, if your intent, a lot of people don't recognize that when you're doing something, if your intent is not there, if your intent is of a negative nature, not if your intent is not good, you are going to be calling negative energy, and it will come. When you call energy, it will come. So a lot of people will dabble in things. They don't study. They don't research it. They just jump into it like the Ouija board, and they will lose their mind. And it's so interesting because this young girl that now has to be taken care of, her mother said that they was messing around with a Ouija board, and she has not been the same since. And she's been in and out of mental institutions, but now that a lot of the mental institutions have been defunct, I don't know if that has happened up this way, but way up north, a lot of the mental institutions are closing, and they're going into private group homes and things of that nature. Say that again? No. The asylums are closing down. A lot of them, I'm sure it's probably because they were stealing the money and they weren't taking care of the people. I mean, I know y'all got that problem up here because I read about it about 2-3 years ago. So I know that problem is prevalent up here, but up north, what they've done is they've closed down a lot of the institutions, and they have moved the people. They have done either one or two things. They've moved them into private companies, or they put them out on the street. And that's why you see people walking around talking to themselves, and they appear to be not quite there because they probably were once institutionalized and for whatever reason. But this particular girl, she was messing around with the energies and it turned on her. And she has not been the same, and she may never be the same again. But that energy is very serious. It's very serious, but you know what? We use this energy every day. The things that we ask for. We use it every single day. And it returns to you the same way you put it out. And that's why I always say, people, y'all need to stop listening to the so-called music because it is absolute trash. I'm not trying to knock anybody who might be in the music industry, but the whole energy of the music industry has changed drastically, and it is putting out a negative energy. And if you listen to it over and over and over again, you're going to be manifesting exactly what all those songs sing about. Horrible relationships across the board. Horrible relationships with male females, horrible relationships with mother, horrible relationships with girlfriends, horrible relationships with just friends. Everything is horrible. Music is no longer fun and uplifting. It's horrible. It has a negative message, and the same thing with movies. I got rid of the TV because it's like everything is a reality show, and it's not even a positive reality show.
If you have a smart TV, you can have a YouTube. You find a lot of material on it. Like during the first half hour until you wake up, if you listen to what's positive, positive next.
Well, yeah.
Your day, it will be positive.
It will be. It will be.
It will be so successful. It's not a habit. And then your dog, it will change your whole things in your body. And so people know it. But it works. Pretty good. It really works.
But that's what I'm talking about, because a lot of people don't realize that you create your world. We look out and we think we're in the world with all these people, but really you're not. You're in your world. Just you. Really you are. Because I can tell you, I know many of the experiences that I have had, none of you have had it. And some of the experiences that you have had, I haven't had. That means that I live in my own world. Everybody does. But they mentally condition us to believe that, we're all in the same melting pot. But we're really not. We're not. But so how do you create the world that you want? That's right. It does start inside. But before you get to the inside, you got to turn off all the external distractions, which would be your TVs and the so-called music, and even some of your family and friends. Because one of the things that I have learned is that we operate a lot on just automatic pilot. We're just out there, busy being busy. You think you're busy, but you're really not doing anything. But you're so tired, right? Yeah. Right? But you're not doing anything, but you're busy and you're tired. And I learned that in order for you, and it's not impossible, but it takes work. In order for you to be able to get all of the energies of the universe to manifest the world that you want, even if it is just a little bit more peace and harmony, even if it's just that, you got to disconnect yourself from everybody and everything. It doesn't mean you don't go to work. I'm not saying that. But when you're not obligated to go to work, or take care of your children, you got to turn off the TV, you got to turn off the radio, you got to stay home, stop talking to people on the phone, stop going out into the community and talking to people, because you have to oversaturate your mind with right information. And you cannot oversaturate your mind and at the same time with positive information, and at the same time you're being bombarded with negative information through the TV, the so-called music, and family and friends. It's never going to help you. You're never going to. Look, many of us walk around in fear of one type or another. And I can tell you from my own experience, the only way that you're going to get rid of that fear is if you disconnect from all of those things that promote fear and stay by yourself and get your head right. And then you can begin to manifest what you want exactly. But you're never going to do it while you got all of these distractions vying for your attention, your energy. You know, because how many people, I learned, how many people would love to be in a relationship with somebody that is peaceful and harmonious? Well, if you listen to the music of today, they are promoting nothing like that, right? And if you watch these movies that they put out, they're promoting nothing like that, right? And if you talk to your girlfriend or your homeboy, they don't have nothing like that. So if what you want is a peaceful, harmonious relationship, you got to cut off the TV, the music, and the so-called family and friends, and you got to take all your energy. If it comes down to you getting a notepad and write, I've done this, write out exactly what you want in absolute detail, and then write it that way every day, every day, every day. Go home, shut the door, write it. Or if you really want to manifest it, write it and then record it onto an audio and listen to it all day long. And trust me, you will manifest just that. I have done it. Well, on the way to manifesting a harmonious relationship with a mate, I learned that I really didn't want that. So I just want some peace and harmony. That's it. I got so much stuff in me that I need to investigate. I ain't got time to try and fix me and help them. I need to just focus on me. So on my way there, I learned that, no, I just want to be with me. I want to explore all of me, because there's so many nooks and crannies and facets of me that I have yet to tap into, and I'm sure the same applies to you. But whatever you want to do is, I'm not saying do what I do. I'm just saying you are just as fascinating as I feel I am about me. So don't count yourself out. You have so much more to discover about yourself than you can even imagine. That I know. Somebody had a question in the back. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yes. Yes. Exactly, yes. And that's kind of a challenge to even comprehend. But let me ask you this, because I know I went through it. When you was going through that period where you was just with yourself, and what did it feel sort of like a purge? Yeah. Did you? I know you know, guys got to be guys, but I know for a woman, you can just, when the emotions emotions get overwhelming, you can just bawl and release. But because I know, well, maybe it's because I'm a Pisces, but when your emotion, when that energy starts moving up, it's got to express some way. You don't want to try and hold it in because it will turn on you. You have to express it some way. How did you express it?
I was cold, and I was like, that would allow me to hear too.
That's right. That's right. Because it's very overwhelming. And then once you get past that, this has been my experience. Once I get past, because you go through this phase where you're so emotional. It's like everything. It's just it's like you're a super receiver, and everything is emotional. And you just start. We will cry. Well, see, women can do this. This is the beauty of being a woman. You can be walking down the street bawling, and everybody will be like, "Oh, she's just having a moment." You can't do that. You can't be a guy doing that because then they'll be like, "Oh, what?" They'll tell you things like, "Be a man, but don't cry." That blocks you. But once you get past that, this has been my experience. Once you get past that, for me, I had so much energy. I felt like I was going to jump out of my skin if I didn't do something. And it just so happened that it was summer. So I would go riding my bike 10 miles one way and come back and still just have enormous amounts of energy because, a lot of times when you feel extremely tired, it's because you got people stealing your energy from you, people stealing your energy. And it just doesn't have to be people who are there. Sometimes the TV steals your energy. The so-called music will steal your energy. People, but the biggest stealers of your energy is people. They will suck your energy. You ever been on the phone having a conversation with somebody and after you hang up, you got to go take a nap? You gotta go take a nap. Like I feel it's really drained. They drain you over the phone, drain you of your energy, and so you have to disconnect from all of that. And so once you start disconnecting, you'll find that you got so much energy you can't sleep at night. And don't change your diet. I'm not saying change. I'm not saying don't change your diet. I'm saying change your diet. What was that? Was that you? Oh, all right. Change your diet is a wonderful thing because let me tell you, when I changed my diet, how many people have ever done like a juice fast? How many people did a water fast? I did a water fast, and like after 3 days, maybe a little bit longer, depending on how much junk you got in you. But usually after 3 days, man, it's like, oh, I can't sleep. Can't sleep because you're not tired. Because you know why? Because you ain't got no junk inside you trying to digest. You got people outside stealing your energy, and then you just ate some junk that's stealing your energy. So now you disconnect them, you do a water fast. You ain't trying to sleep and try to sleep. You're lucky if you can sleep for 45 minutes. Am I right? So we have people who say, I don't have time to study. Yes, you do. You just need to change a couple things around. You have more than enough time to study. You just have unproductive time. But you have more than enough time to study. And if you change your diet, man, let me tell you, you will have more bounce in your step. Also, if you do a water fast or a juice fast, you're gonna have to change your diet. And one of the things that you're gonna find when you do a juice fast or a water fast is if you feel sometimes when you get up, you might feel stiff. Your bones, your joints feel kind of stiff. Not age. It's food cementing in your joints. You're slowly cementing. So when you do a juice or a water fast, all of that starts to loosen up and it passes out of your body, and you'll find yourself just popping up, and you're like, wait a minute, I got this quite easily. That hasn't happened in a while. But how many people have, besides Brother Becky, how many other people have had change their diet and cut off attachments to people and found that you have so much energy?
I was bottom somewhere.
Uh-huh.
And after I first what was going on, no matter what happened, that was reality. Whatever reason, that's what. I got to the point of this where cutting everybody off, and I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what was doing with me around me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I had trouble getting it, but it was funny though, because I could have sworn the moment I closed my eyes, I should actually going, and I was like, what was that? But after a while, you had no choice but to accept.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, like I said, I would wake up in the morning feeling hungry instead of hungry.
Yes. Recharge. Well, let me check with this brother up here, and then we're gonna go to, huh?
Yeah, that's my problem right now is like that. Like last night, I went to sleep like at 10 o'clock, but I was up at 40 or something. And I didn't want to go back to sleep. I went back like at 3 after lighting or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I overslept. So when I oversleep, when I sleep more than like 5 hours now, I'll have less energy.
Yes. Oh, so you're in the adjustment phase.
Well, I've been 5 years now.
Oh, while you're still adjusting. It can take 5 years.
Yeah, I feel like 10 years.
Well, it might not take 10 years, but it can take 5. But because it's always changing. That's what it is. It's always changing. See, you might be trying to manage a certain, like you said, 5 hours. You might be trying to manage 5 hours and don't realize that it has reduced to maybe 4. So you're going to be off an hour.
And I also can't eat as much. Like I try to not do it, but like fix.
Yes.
I might not be hungry, but
oh no, you got to break that because that's going to deplete your energy. But you had something back in the back.
Yeah, you have church tonight. I got testimony. You sisters say different from our brothers.
Well, that's true.
All right,
Islam.
So I found myself being driven to drink until I figured out I need certain herbs to communicate effectively. And one of the first herbs was apple. Following one was psilocybin mushroom. The next one was ayahuasca. And then there was herbs that just basically chill me out. So y'all in an altered state. This is an altered state like cat. And we in a different dominion. So it's almost like we talking apples and oranges, and nobody understands nobody. So just like Master Carisi said, we go to all these states, go to war with certain herbs. He was just expecting me. I got to have these select herbs so we can have a harmonious communication. And amazingly, so I'm not saying I'm sure or academic being, but y'all definitely on the way like that system of brother. Until after metaphors, we seem to get along with it. I don't know what that is.
I don't know either. I don't know either, but I can say this, usually when this is just my thinking, the body will change for 2 reasons, because it's always changing anyway. but also if you're eating, and we have this tendency to eat the wrong things, and so when you're eating the wrong things, over time, your body will begin to shut down. And that's what happens with women. Same thing happens with guys. Same thing. A lot of things, have you noticed that things are happening today that never happened before? Very interesting. Very interesting. Like women, the whole menopause thing, it's there. It's always been there. But now you got guys who are going through this huge prostate thing. I don't know what that's about. I mean, I do, because I had a friend that had some challenges with prostate, and I did a little research, and I see the connection to prostate to food. There's an absolute connection. It's so clear, but addiction to food is the biggest thing going on today in the nation. It is not addiction to crack or cocaine or prescription drugs. It's food. It is, and they make you think, oh, you're good. You're a good person because you're not on crack cocaine. You might as well be on crack cocaine. For real, you might as well, because the food addiction it's a slower walk to death, but it is a walk to death nonetheless. And, I have never seen so many guys with hair loss that I have ever seen these days. And now women are following behind. And I'm like, what is going on? Now, people are losing their teeth like nothing, but what is going on? You got mummies that still got their teeth and hair. And today we're losing our teeth and hair. What is going on? Exactly. It is the food. It is the food. And so we, as a people, we've got to really take a look at this, and we've got to make changes, not just for ourselves, but more importantly, for the next generation. Because if our situation, my dad is 88, and he does not look it. And I'm looking at some people who are half his age, and they look older than him. And decrepit, their body is like breaking down. They like broke down cars with spare parts. And they're younger than my dad, who's 88, and my dad walks absolutely straight there without a curve in his back. He picks up my suitcase like nothing. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, how'd you get that there? He's got to fix it up. But we got guys that are like, can you pick up my suitcase? Oh, I got a bad back. What is going on? It's the food. We are all addicted to the food. And it's crazy because we will sit here and we'll say, I don't want nobody telling me what to do, when to do, where to do it, blah, 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 blah. But you're addicted to food. You can't break that addiction. You will sit here and tell me, I don't want nobody telling me nothing. But you can't stop eating the way you're eating, even though you know it is destroying you. That is a serious addiction. And, my diet, a couple of years ago, I changed my diet, and seriously, and the main reason I changed it was because I've always been a reader, but I read so many things about the foods that we're eating, like dairy products and meat is like, wow, where certain meats come from, how they process it, grains. Our bodies are not designed to process grains. Corn is not really a grain. It's not even it's not a vegetable either. We don't know what it is. But years ago, I drastically changed my diet, and the major reason wasn't just health reasons, but it was because I couldn't stand somebody being in control of me through food. I just couldn't stand it. I am a control freak, but I love the control. It's all about me. I like to be in control of myself, and I don't like to know that somebody else is controlling me. If I I got to get up and go to work. I have no control over that. Yet I can change how I eat. That I have 100% control over. So of course I had to change that, and I did. And that was the catalyst that, I've always been health conscious, but it really pushed me into changing my diet. And then along the way, I found out about these breatharians. How many people ever heard of breatharians? Woo, y'all are sharp. Breatharian is somebody who doesn't have a requirement to eat anything or drink anything. And they survive just fine. And I started doing some research on these breatharians, and I come to find out that that is who we were originally before we started eating food. And this is why when you read in the Bible, it talks about the people living thousands of years. The reason you were able to live thousands of years is because your body wasn't breaking down because you were overloading it and contaminating it with food, especially cooked food. I know we all love cooked food. It's very good. But our bodies are not designed to eat cooked food. It really isn't. That's why we get so much mucus. And our bodies are absolutely not designed to eat meat. People think they're carnivores. Y'all think, tell the truth. Before y'all got hip to this information, didn't y'all think y'all was carnivores? Y'all thought you was but a true carnivore eats fresh kill. Fresh kill means the heart is still beating. The meat is still warm. True carnivores do not eat cold meat. True carnivores don't eat meat out the freezer. True carnivores do not have to doctor up the meat with spices in order to eat it and then fry it. That's not a true carnivore. If you do that to a meat of a true carnivore, they will smell it and walk away. True carnivore, if you're a true carnivore, everybody would be salivating, watching all this meat walk by right now. So we have to really look at. If you imagine, if I had a lion right here, what do you think he would be doing? Looking at all of us, licking his lips and salivating right now. All this wonderful meat walking by. Are you kidding me? We are not carnivores. So I see that our master astrologist is here. And I'm so excited for her to come over here and take over because my mouth is so dry. My mouth is so dry. I'm just going to give you my earpiece and go take a drink. Oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right, so this is for me.
Yes. And
all right.
can you get this picture, Reese? Oh, you may not need it. You might not need it.
Did you press one?
I did not press one. But I'm not going to have a bad review. Just watch me, okay?
All right.
All right?
All right. Oh, I see.
Now I'm in it. Right? Right?
Just as I found you. Yes, you are.
It's on, everybody. Let me tell you something about this time of year, what it's all about. What it's all about. But people say, take it back long. You need to look and see what is there. What is being told? What is the message that you say at this time? And so, hey, you got to check too, because I'm not taking that to home. And if you again, don't have anything going on that you are obligated to, but you expect others to be interested. Everybody does what they got to do. So I have to check. We all have to check our own. It's our message about what this time period is right now. I want to tell you first, was my friend, Sister Annie was going to freak out. This is like, she was going to freak out by reading some stuff in the esoteric Venus, but because she didn't have it with her, which wasn't originally planned, so it wasn't her failure or anything, I was trying to take a picture of it, but we couldn't. There was a shadow. It couldn't happen, so she could read it. The reason I wanted to read the esoteric Venus, which you may yourself think has nothing to do with astrology and what's going to be shown today about what is Christian and what is not, or what is Christianity, what it is and what it is not, and how it relates to religion, so we can stop saying, you celebrate Christmas? That's a quote-unquote white man thing. That is about the most ignorant thing that can come out of your mouth. When you say crazy crap like that, we understand why. We understand why. The reason why is because you've been simply miseducated. What I'm going to share with you is not my opinion. It's no one's opinion. It has nothing to do with the membership. It has nothing to do with, your choice of religion. It is what it is. Wake up and see that and benefit with reasonable analysis, right? Right? Because every pseudo-religion operating from the celestial vibrations called celebration. Every last one of them. Everything is the same. So we're going to show you what's going on today for these 3 days. And this is why, it was important. I was not going to be able to come for other reasons. Like I said, we all got to check our stuff, right? And but the time has to be now for this lesson. Because the stillness of the 3 days of the SUN, sun, which on the 21st began the winter equinox where the sun seems to rest. It's hanging for 3 days. It's resting from its cycle. This is happening now. See, on the 25th, 3 days later, it's going to rise or be airborne. It's going to be airborne, born again, rise again. From a grave. Astrologers call this period that the sun is hanging for 3 days the grave, like it's coming out of a grave. So now they apply the allegory of Christ, Jesus. Christ is the sun, which we accept, of course, being born or dying, and rising in 3 days. Do you get the significance? So that's where it comes from. And here you and I arguing each other about your choice of religion. Well, all of it comes from that. Buddha, Confucius, that's why the Bank of Nationality cards that have been offered from the most international movement of the world, established by Prophet Noah Ali, when he established the institution called the LSTFA to submit these or get out these cards. On the back it says we are all prophets. Buddha, Confucius, right? Muhammad, they're all there. There's no separation. There's no division. See, division simply means digression of the vision. And we have digressed in our vision. Review with reasonable analysis. Review, re-look. Review or respect, meaning re-look. Spectate, respect. That's it. So today we're going to respect what is happening inside of ourselves. Because it's in the middle, it's the stillness. How many can say, and I tell you, if you can't say it because you haven't really thought about it, there is a stillness outside. I know it's raining right now, like crazy, right? Right? We didn't really want to necessarily come in that weather, but we got to do what we got to do when you have an obligation, right? But when you don't, you don't. Because we really who wants to do that. But it's cool. It's really great, right? Now, there's a stillness. You feel it? Want to experience this stillness, because remember, this is the 3 days. You're in the 3 days.
That's why this was such a best time to do it, and whatever had to happen, it is to make it happen. There's a stillness, but on the 25th, it will move. The sun literally will react you, and sun will move. Again, in its normal procession as opposed to its chilling out and hang time. You understand what I'm saying? It's very real that that's going on. And you will feel it. Once you feel it, if you ever feel it, you will never forget it. You know, we talk about the elements, air, wind, earth, and fire. Have you really ever felt the air? Have you really ever felt the fire, which is the sun? Have you really ever felt the water? Have you really ever felt the earth? That would be the mother, or been going out into it yourself. You know what I'm saying? This is one of those experiences that you must feel. I recall when I did it way back, I recognized that feeling then. In other words, you don't even have to remember that you are where you are. It's like once it becomes a part of you, these principles, which we call the astrology, like when I first was starting with these classes with astrology, I knew the colors that you would wear every day for each day. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You know, they're just colors, right? Colors of the rainbow. They're colors. So I knew what those colors were every day, so I would wear something, even if it was an undergarment in that color. But after you do that, and it becomes a part of you, it becomes who you are. You don't have to, because you acknowledge already because you got it. Do you understand that? It's not a ritual that you must continue to do without sincerity for the rest of your life, like go to church every Sunday when you know, or if you don't know, you ought to know, that the preacher comes out of his normal clergy. He comes out of his normal clergy in his supposed house of God, wherever things is the house of God. But see, you got to know who God is. That. He comes out of his normal clergy to marry you under secular clergy, which is business. But everything that goes on is supposed to be under the eyes of God. What is that? Oh, the inconsiderate demeanor. Well, you know what? Had she asked, you would have pulled it out. You put that right off the site. Well, thank you. I have my copy with me, but since then he didn't have hers with her. But if she had known that, you look at that. He had it right off the site. Right off the site. Now, the reason is, let's go to this. You don't know what God is. You don't know who God is. Everybody is God. Then what did you say? It's a title. If there is a God that's living within you, if there is a living, if the light of truth is living within you, so check this out. Why am I talking to you today? Because there's a reason for it. Trust me. The reason for everything. Divine law governs all of that. As I had mentioned, here it is, this class. Well, today that I want to add this to this class here is, in regards to Christmas, the massive crossing. Christ massive crossing. What it is and what it is not, the true origins, in which all pseudo-religions mimic with a twist of their own assignments or deletions and or allegories to appear to you that it is a religious choice. It is not a religious choice. It is what it is, in spite of you acknowledging it or not. It is what you think, so you say you seek truth. And what is truth? But the source, the root or the source of all things made manifest. That's all it is. It's the truth that somebody did something screwed up to you. That's true, right? The source of all things manifest is the truth. What is religion? To realign yourself, religiously done. This goes down all the time as a cycle of the tenets and principles of movement. Movement is life. It's the principles of movement, which means if you ain't moving, you're dead. That's why people, they set before you this plan to work for somebody and then retire and be set, and you don't have to do nothing. You will die if you do nothing. Because your mind has to be working at least before you thinking and then you do it. So they say before you to take you off of this, to take you off of what's actually going down. The sun is now at its highest point, and anything like a pendulum, once it goes this way, it's got to come back. So it's headed down this way, although it's cold. It's headed this way towards the spring, which is the equinox, because everything is done in a season, 3/4, right? Right? The question that is asked of you at this time in the universe is, have you reaped and sowed enough to sustain you through this quarter where nothing much is growing? Have you done that? Not just someone else do it. Have you? Now many of you thinking money, or what you call money, not about that. Number one, it's about thought. Because many think that, yes, all over the earth, nothing will be growing for the next 3 months, but when the waters are fertilized and planted, and then from there, spring forth the new birth, just like in the womb of a woman. Because, see, the fact that we don't know this is the degradation of the society. It is the degradation of society. You can't make something that they did. That's just like people running around right now. I think you may have mentioned it, talking about, yeah, we're going to go to the United Nations and they're going to give us our title to our land. Now, this is the new trick thing. What? It's in your blood. There's no one that can give it to you. It's alluvial. There's nothing over it. Nothing above it, nothing below it, nothing over it. And it's in the title, it's in L's and Z's. Our D's and our Le's are reserved for the nation, reserved for the accomplishments of the people in the nation. You don't just go grab those. That's why the prophet Ali said, don't use our Le's. Because it means you have exalted to the mastery of whatever your field is, and published and written in order to prove so for public consumption and mastery, both spiritually as well as diplomatically, socially, etc. That means you are professed in the sciences of chemical, mathematical, geometrical, all of the L's, A-L. No one is professed, not self-assigned. That's our problem. We got a lot of self-assignments going on. You know what I mean? And then days mean not just South America, but those who are master astrologists. And most of that went down in South America. So that's why it's generally like that. We are basically back to principles, the L's and the B's. And if we can't be L's and B's, we can't be anything beyond that yet. That's the basic. So I'm getting the basic. But sun, which affects this earth plane of which we are on until we are no longer on it, is traversing through. Now, it doesn't matter whether it's cold or not, because some people say, well, it's in the winter, but it's not cold over here. It doesn't matter. This is about cycles that mean something, that repeat itself. They repeat even in you and what you do, even in your relations, even in your personal relations, your family relations. Now, with family relations, it's a little bit different. And let me explain how and why. Because you think that you didn't choose your family. And you are ingrained there. Because from the beginning, and even with the unseen, you're here for lessons that didn't at all. Why? So that you can become one with the all. So what makes you think that you are supposed to be here? I got a messed up parent. No, that's your lesson. That's your lesson. What's wrong with you? Because if you believe that, you'll never get off that job. You will never, ever get off that job. You'll be sitting there all the time, and I'm going to tell you what, you be blaming everybody else. That's how you know someone who don't see what it really is. They always blaming somebody else for why something didn't happen. You can express how you feel, think, or whatever about what happened to someone else, But you can't blame them for what you didn't do, especially if you're obligated. Those are the things you want to recognize. So you're here to your family because it was meant to by these energies, by law. How many know what I mean when I say by law? Tell me. Say it again, all the sisters. The length, the angle, and the width. Length, angle, and width. Of what, right? Of the entity. The length, the angle, and width of the entity. So you are then all law, right? Manifested in the flesh, right? Flesh, right? Arm, leg, arm, head. That's our law. Oh, but that's like most of our Christian brethren confused as they may be about what Christianity is. I'm not telling them not to choose to be Christ-like and pure, but that's right. They think that Allah is a separate God. There's only one. They say you know there's only one God. Well, then why do you keep separating me then? Just because I say God, you say Allah, someone else says Elohim, some more, some say Brahma, or whatever. Huh? Jehovah, there was no day, so Jehovah, Yahweh, Yahshua, which if you watch the Passion of the Christ in the movie, they put right on the screen, Yahshua. Y'all got it right. He is. So what we find is that religion is what was used to keep us apart and separated. But it's really religion is law, order, and governing principle, which are the energies, which is the left, the angle, and the width, the same. So when a woman is pregnant and having a child, whatever she is doing at 9 is solar months, 10 lunar, 7 lunar, not 10 lunar months, moon, or 40 weeks. But it comes up to 9 suns by month and 40 weeks by lunar. Some people it's 40 weeks. Well, it's 9 months. It has a different cycle, but it comes up to the same. So wherever she was, whatever entity she was around, that's what created you, and she formed a body that could cripple you. See, because the spirit animates the soul, but the body can actually murder the soul. So the mother is making a body, so she's building the soul of man's temple. You see, so you might have some afflictions, this or that or the other, but at the same time, it's meant to be because those are lessons. Now, I forgot what it was. Someone was reading out some new planet, some new sun. There's no new planet. There's no new sun. Was it Sharon? Something about Sharon? Sharon. It's new. Now, that's the energy of Sagittarius. Yeah, every sign has. No. It's not the Rose of Sharon or Sharon. Okay, Rose of Sharon. It's really Rose of Sharon. Now look, it's not new. They discovered Pluto in 1832. But does that mean that Pluto just came on, and they just going to do it all around every 30 years? It's a 28-30-year generational planet. So they just saw it because they just studied. I mean, if you even do some studies in astrology, you will see that they were studying astrology trying to learn something. That was already known. And Pluto happens to be the undertone of the entire solar system. It's the planet, although the smallest, it is filled with water. It's like into the womb. And Uranus, which is like into, like into the sperm, it, as it does now, or if it does now, because all we need is a sperm. We all know that we ain't going through that. Okay. because it just gets people twisted because they're patriarchal mindset after the Christian Crusade. Let's get clear. After the Christian Crusade, Christianity, Christ, Christian Crusade, they're three different things. They must be separated because Cretan is where they get Christian. You know, Christian means skin disease. It's not skin disease running around with the sun. Those who can't stand the sun. So in that essence to be your look, I want to share. Pluto's the moon, there's water. Uranus is running to the electricity, right? And sparks it, like the ground sparks it. And where the energy and the spirit of what is created rests in Neptune. So Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune is the three outer planets, and then there's the seven inner planets. You get it? So when they said the seven stood before the three or the triune and breathed out, or they stood before the triune and breathed out the seven, that was it. That is it. So now you got the seven, most influential, wherein every day of the week is named after it, right? Yeah, you know, like these are proving things. It's not nobody's opinion. But it was covered in cloak. It was covered in cloak because of Christianity, the religion, the pseudo-religion called Christianity that came to cover in cloak there. Because it turned things into the patriarchal thing. Do you get that? Now I'm just telling the truth as it is. I'm a good Christian. All right, well, you're Christ-like, Christian, and pure. Do you believe that people should die if they don't believe in Jesus Christ, your Savior, the way you found him? Because he's been here long before you discovered them, or these things, or this principle, right? So you are new, Europeans, and you have discovered Jesus as your Savior. Justice is everybody's Savior. Religion, Jesus, justice, but that's just either way they got it. And so now you want to come to read who you have admitted in your articles in the Empire of Arena, and you need to read it. It's on the site. Brother got it there. And also, I when I did research, I also added into the book, into the Empire of Arena, which I think we have back there. I added out of the Encyclopedia Dictionary. I'm trying to get the name of it now. It's at the bottom of that second page. Encyclopedia Dictionary. I added something that I found in the exploration of North America by what? I just opened up the encyclopedia and said, look up exploration of North America. Well, it was all right there. So, definition of North America. North America. Well, no, let's say definition of North America. Continent of the Western Hemisphere extending northward from the Colombia-Panama border and including Central America, Mexico, the islands of the Caribbean Sea, the United States, Canada, the Arctic archipelago, and Greenland. Okay, so now the northern continent of the Western extending northward. Okay, so it says, what is a continent? One of the principal land masses of the earth, usually regarded as including Africa, Antarctica, Asia, Australia, Europe, North America, and South America. All right? So then I went to the Prophet of Joe East work in Red 47, and he also explained that, this is our geographical landmass, right? And so we're American. What's American? Well, more American, same thing, right? And the definition of American, I had it on here. What I did. Well, the various copper-colored people found on the continent by the Europeans. Now, why am I saying this? You're asking again, and what does it have to do with astrology? Because it is the pseudo-Christian religion that is suppressed astrology. And you have got to understand that in order to rock for it. And to accept anything that anybody, whether it be me or any other astrologer, without believing, oh, yeah, that's the devil's work, we don't believe in foretelling. Fortune telling and foretelling and stuff like that. But yet, the Bible is what is, what was, and what's to come, which is the book of future telling. I mean, it's absolute hypocrisy because it is the Christian pseudo-patriarchal mindset that was placed upon us that has caused us to rebuke anything, to, first of all, accept Christianity, but not really, because some of us did not accept it because we were already living believing that there was one way, one God, not eating meat. Now, they admit a flesh. You know, they admitted that in the conservative readings that we were eating, and in the North American inspiration, we believed in one God. God, some people what they found. They admitted it, but they removed it from being a part of the education in the school system. And they said that, you know, didn't eat flesh, right, and believed in one God. So we already believe that, what are you talking about? So you're going to come and say, well, no, you're not believing in Christianity. It's the Lord and Savior, or else we've been told by our God that we can kill you. So you know that is, they call pagans. Pagans are you. People who treated the earth. So they call pagans and taught it on faith. Do you know that is documented fact? I mean, I found that by looking up North American exploration. But because we're Christianized intellectually like that, we don't look at anything else outside of what was taught here, which goes back to the home also. If Mama taught this, and that, then you're not going to look and see nothing else as basic principles. You know, like basic. Like if you weren't taught to say thank you, please, no thank you, you're going to go in society without saying thank you. No thank you, please, and no thank you, and pardon me, excuse me. You're not going to say that. It's just that simple because you can't apply it to where it belongs because you weren't taught it, because it's not fundamental. And that's another thing. Look, because, I got to say this, because of the lack of knowing true religion or true, you know, I don't like saying true religion to people, you know, all the things in a bunch, you know, because of what they think religion is. So what I wanted to do here is show that the Christianity that you may have received or accepted is not religion. Admit it right now that they're told that by God it is documented. Smack upside the head. Well, it's documented. They didn't hide it. That if you do not accept my form of Christianity, we will kill you. And God told us to. It is in the documentation of the Intercessor Divina, which means the intent and agreement. And yes, and it was really spirituality, but it does, because I did it. They call it Christianity, they slapped it on you, and if you don't take it, they persecuted you. There were some who did not go for it. There were some who did. They're called Moriscos and Morenos. That was what they named them. Morisco, Moor, and Christian, like Crisco oil. More Crisco. They're Moriscos and Morenos. You have got to be able to see that, to know that, in order to rise above it and to respect this winter solstice and what it is saying to you, or what it is saying to everyone. Have you to sustain yourself? Doesn't even done financially. Need your thoughts. If you can't get off the dime, if you can't get this, you can't get off the dime, you just spin, and blame everybody else. But the energy that is prevailed or beginning this season with the winter solstice is the Capricorn. How many people in here are Capricorn? Oh, Capricorn. All right. The Capricorn. Did you say you're Capricorn? Oh, awesome. The Capricorn season is representing, or the Capricorn energy, is representing the fact that the people who walk around in human form, all that human form, let's straighten that out. I don't want to be a human, because that means I'm a monster, and you take that off of my car, please. But only one race, there's only one race in the human race. Now, check it out. The monster is one who is in human form. Look it up. Look it up in Oxford. It's one who is in human form with animal characteristics and no inheritable blood. Dang, why would they say all that to describe these monsters? Huh? Yeah, right. The monster is in human form. That doesn't mean that someone in human form is a monster. It means a monster comes in human form. You see what I'm saying? But you know, we half-ass do stuff. I mean, halfway do stuff. No, half-ass. So look, you have read the North American Exploration, right? Or at least the Inter Divina, correct? You do know these things I'm saying as fact. Because even if I read what difference does it make if you don't? Excuse you. What do you know? Oh, that's on here. This mic was on Fosto a few minutes ago. What was that? I heard it go off. Y'all can hear me, right? Okay, that's all that matters. No, because they can hear me. Now I'm going to give you something to think about also. But I'm going to give out. But before I do, oh yeah, I got something for you. So now I'm saying all these things because I want you to really get how I'm trying to tie this in, that you will not be able to receive astrology proper until you get rid of the fake as Christianity pseudo-religion that was designed. Now again, how many have actually read that the impulse for exploration was fueled by European imagination? This is out of Columbia Dictionary Encyclopedia. The idea of America antedated America's discovery and even Viking exploration. That idea had two parts. One was paradisiacal and utopian, and the other savage and dangerous. Ancient tales describe distant civilization. Hold on, they're telling you that they're not the ancient. They're telling you ancient tales. You gotta know one of them. Ancient tales. They're not the ancient. Ancient tales, listen real close here, describe distant civilizations, usually to the west, where European-like people lived simple, virtuous lives without war, without famine. When they say European-like, humans, but they were dark-skinned because they said so later on in it, dark-melanated. Okay. Without war, without famine, without disease or poverty, such utopian visions were reinforced by religious notions. Early Christian Europeans had inherited from the Jews a powerful prophetic tradition, and I'm going to tell you who the Jews were, tradition that drew upon apocalyptic biblical texts in the books of Daniel, Isaiah, and Revelation. They connected the Christianization of the world with the second coming of Christ. They did that. Such ideas led many Europeans, including Columbus, to believe that it was God's plan for Christians to convert pagans wherever they were found. Pagans were God. We treated the earth, and they didn't think it was a bad thing. If secular and religious traditions evoked utopian visions of the new world, they also induced nightmares. The ancients described wonderful civilizations, but barbaric, evil ones as well. Moreover, late medieval Christianity inherited a rich tradition of hatred. Christianity inherited a rich tradition of hatred for non-Christians. And you say you're a Christian with love? No. So, a non-Christian, now this was derived in part from the Crusaders' struggle to free the Holy Land and for warfare against the Moors. And that's right in the dictionary. And I don't know who a Moor is, because it's your history and your heritage that you don't even know. And you got the nerve to walk up to them like they're supposed to know. They are hired and trained not to know. All they know is here you come as a formidable foe, talking about on the Moor, I'm a Muslim. Everybody's a Muslim because it's a fetus, by the way. And you know, this is my ancestral estate. Some people don't even say that. They go and ask permission, which means that you are scary. Because if you say you all that, why you asking permission? And the problem is trying to see you as a Negro, or colored, or a black. So now you come high. You've got to get the illustrious history in order to be who you are. You must go back. We must to the mindsets of our ancient foremothers and forefathers and drop the stuff that these modern Europeans have put before you, because it is not designed for anything that's good, which is already shown, that those who go out and murder are nothing but the Roman soldiers hidden behind the Christian crusade, and now behind municipalities. Because municipality means Roman soldier. That's why we were really upset with somebody that called up about the prophet created a municipality. Like, really? Are you have not studied. You should be smacked for even saying it, because it belongs to the Romans. But we need to know that now, so that we don't accept it, because we're always going after everything that's next and new. One thing is for sure, the rise of the Moors is here. No matter what it looks like, it's coming back. It's going to be in our hands. Well, everybody seems to know that much. Well, gee, that's fine. That's what it takes. Now, get to studying and look up the necessary things, because if you don't, they're going to compromise you. Like, okay, they got this thing, they're going to, I think somebody was telling me about it. They're going to give money for African-American teachers. You're not African-American. You go and accept that shit, the stuff, and they're going to have you in a box. If they were trying to uplift the true people, they would know, especially if they're in the United Nations, that you ain't African-American. There's no such thing. We're letting it finance to uplift and get scolded for more. I wonder how many people will go after that. Oh, they might not go after that because they can't stand on being a Moor. They can stand on being an African American. See, we always want to take the shortcut and, well, we're going to go this way and get that way, and, you know, like that. No, they just herded you into a jurisdiction that you can't get out of, especially after you sign that. You admitted that you're that. Oh, you not that? Oh, we can't give you that. That's what they don't say. But it's already yours, because any finances that come for the Aboriginal indigenous people didn't come for African Americans in the first place. And you ought to know that. I don't know what to do. They said whatever. Well, you should know. Ought not. I understand we all got to learn, because we all go through it. We all do learn. But I'm going to tell you something. I know that if you understand nature and the natural flow of things, you will be graced just for the acknowledgement alone. Just for the acknowledgement alone. Going back to learning the colors of the vibrations of the planet. The colors every day. They named Monday, or Sunday's the first day of the month, not Monday. Sunday, Domingo, the sun, which is the source, which is the center of the solar system that we're in. There's a whole bunch of other stuff. This is what we're in. You get out of this before you try to talk about something else. If you learn the principles here, you can navigate anywhere. So they live the days of the week after these planets. You don't understand the power? And you don't know that? You know, so once you know it, it becomes art. People will look at other people and say, I don't know how she or he got like that, or who they say. Because you have to become what you know. You do become what you know. And when your behind becomes what you know, that's what you want to show everybody else. And you say, worry about what somebody else is doing. And don't be trying to be like somebody else. Be you. See, because Father Noah Darlene said, I came to teach you to be yourself. That means be yourself. Don't worry about what someone else. Be you. And the things you say you need, ask for them. And watch to see if you don't get them. Only if your core, which is your heart, which is what the Quran is for, it means core, heart, is right. If it's not right, you'll get smacked. And you wonder why you're still standing. Because I'm going to get food tomorrow. Because you didn't appreciate what you had yesterday. That's why. So how can you accept something tomorrow, the next day, when you can see what you got today? That's why. But you're still standing. Now, I wanted to say, I got to say this, and then I want to explain, or maybe you can explain to me why, oh, I know what it was. Here it is. When I was talking about, anybody, you know what I thought I had? I think I printed this wrong. Chapter 47 of the Circle 7 Holy Quran. What did I just say? I said that Christianity is pseudo, right? It's pagan, right? I mean, it's not pagan. It's against the pagans, which is you, right? That it was divided. How many have read chapter 46 of the Circle 7 Holy Quran, which is the last chapter, or next to the last chapter? Now, the last chapter is 48, and this is 46. By show of hands, how many have ever read chapter 40? Okay, all right, cool. Did you understand it? Because the first time I read it, I didn't quite get it. But do you guys get it? Or from the beginning of Christianity. The beginning of Christianity. Again, the reason I'm talking about Christianity is so that you can know what it is, not so that you can shed it and accept what the true Christ is, which is the S-U-N. The S-U-N. Do you get that? All right. Because if you don't, you can't. The beginning of Christianity. It's only 9 verses. The foundation of Christianity began in where? Rome. Is that your religion? If it's at Holy Rome, because the Holy Roman Empire was you, but the Roman Empire was not. Began in Rome. Why? Because the Roman nation founded the first church. Who founded the first church? Of Rome. That first church is the one who crucified Jesus. Of Nazareth. That guy. So why did they crucify him? Oh, because he was seeking to redeem his people under the Roman yoke. And you got people talking about, oh, yeah, you know, prophets is making them in this authority, which is a Roman thing. But if you read this and you studied, you would already know who you can never more talking that crap. He's trying to bring you back. Well, many will put you back into slavery. It's a beautiful time. We can start that with those swords every day. Because we already know. Yeah, don't ask permission. You are, this is your ancestors' say. How do you know? The next chapter, 47, tells you. And this is at the end of the book. Because in the middle of it, it's like an oracle to save your soul from all the things that you say ails you. I love the one about inconsistency and what is the other one? Inconsistency and what's the other one? Instability of man. You got people that are unstable. You know, they wishy-washy. They need to read that chapter every day and strengthen their ass instead of messing with people and messing up their stuff. That's what they need to do. Because everything you need is in between this divinely, as far as that, is in between this divinely prepared. Just look up what it is that concerns you. Anyway, they crucified him because he was seeking to redeem his people from under the Roman yoke and law. Jesus himself was of the true blood of the ancient Canaanites and Moabites and the inhabitants of Africa. Jesus was of the true blood of the ancient Canaanites and Moabites and the inhabitants of Africa, seeking to redeem his people in those days from the pressure of the pagan nations of Europe. Rome crucified him according to their law. Then Europe had peace for a long time until Muhammad I came upon the scene and fulfilled the work of Jesus. So you believe in Jesus, and I believe in Muhammad, and, you know. One, what? Yes, that's like separating Christian and father and son. Just because, like, oh man, we got great abundance, man. I tell you what, your family's growing. You know, I want to go and share that. I'm gonna take this part of the land. You take that part, and everybody thinks that it's, you know, some different family, some different blood. It wouldn't really matter about the sons anyway. It's about the mother. The nation, all women come here with the nation in the womb. This is where the nation is. I'm looking for it somewhere else. So that's where it is. That's why it's for the young and the unborn. Right here. That's why all of this information means nothing if women don't get it. Because he brings in these stones. So, seeking to redeem his people in those ways, in those days, on the question of the pagan nations of Europe, Rome crucified him according to their law. Then Europe had peace for a long time until Muhammad I came upon the scene and fulfilled the work of Jesus, of Nazareth. The holy teaching of Jesus was to the common people, to redeem them from under the great pressure of the hands of the unjust, that the rulers and the rich would not oppress the poor. Also, that the lion and the lamb may lay down together, and neither will be harmed when morning came. Y'all heard about the lion and the lamb, right? One of the things that kept me going is that the last Christmas card my mother gave me, and she's been deceased since 1981. How long ago was that? 20, 35, 36 years. 30, 35. 34. Oh. Okay, right. Yeah. 35. So we look at 35, right? This coming here. And it was a card. And it had a lion, like an illustration of the lamb. The lamb looked like a little poodle. It was a different type of retro type of art. And I would have a friend that said, the lamb looks like a poodle. That's not a lamb, that's a poodle. I said, no, that's a lion. And we got that. And that's the lion and the lamb. I framed it. It's a picture because it was actually fitting, but I understand it now. It had a meaning deeper than what I even thought, just because it was the last card that I ever got from her, and it was so simple. I think it was either the birthday card or the Christmas, because I got it in the frame now. And then here I go into this same type of work where we understand what the lion and the lamb means now. You know, and so it's powerful to me in that respect. So these teachings, so neither would be harmed when morning comes. These teachings were not, these teachings were not accepted by the rulers. Oh, no. They said, we're going to kill you because you won't do what we want. We're the ones who say you're pagans and you don't believe in our so-called Savior. So these teachers were not accepted by the rulers, neither were they accepted by the rich. Because why? Because both of them love the principles of the Ten Commandments. Now you know why the Ten Commandments had nothing to do with you anyway. That the Ten Commandments came from within, somewhere, or teaching somebody to be civilized. Somewhere you have to get out of the Dr. Monroe showed you. Okay. Through the Ten Commandments, the rulers and the rich live while the poor, they suffer and die. The lamb is the poor, the lion is the rulers, and the rich is the rulers and the rich. And through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, all men are one and equal to seek their own destiny and to worship under their own vine and fig tree after the principles of the holy and divine laws of their forefathers. Go back to the mindsets of your ancient foremothers and forefathers and stop chasing after what this modern European, who is calling to be a corporation, wants you to do, because they brainwash you to believe in or to follow whatever the hell they say. And you know it's true. Let's be honest. Well, what you think the right man is going to think because you acting like that? the white people, and all that kind of craziness. We look up them as if they're some idol to us. That's what happened. But you taught them. So whatever they agree, you agree to. You want to be in agreement to whatever they think is cool when you're the one who taught them. And it got flipped and twisted. So it's not that whoever thinks whatever is cool. Got that. But to stay and live and breathe and be different over here than what you're going to be over here because a European, because, it's hard for me to call white man. That's why I keep doing this, and the people who listen don't see me doing quote unquote. What? Really? You're going to what? If you're doing that, you're not being real. You're being so dishonest with yourself, and you wonder what your problems are. When you're taught the basic fundamentals of civilization principles, it doesn't matter who you're around. But we pretend to impress, the Europeans, modern, because we were brainwashed to do that. The master-slave relationship. But if you watch Django, which we were talking about, didn't you see they opened it up with, what's his name? Stephen. What's his name? His true uplifted. Serious us. What was he doing? Did anybody check? Don't say it. I know you know. Anybody check what he was doing at the beginning of the movie? Anybody. He was writing the damn check, drinking brandy in the library. He was writing. He was the house master, right? House Negro. He was a consultant first man, the head Negro in charge, and he was in the library writing the text. Nobody caught that. I know you do. Okay. He was also called the master into the library to talk. When he got in there, he was drinking the brandy, telling him what to do. Remember, this movie was 2 years before slavery was ended, or before slavery began or was ended. Django. Yeah. Okay, so look, before the Civil War, thank you, that's what I was looking for, because we were free. We were free. We were enslaved. The first plantations was for them, not you. Let's admit it. Now, I'm saying all this because we keep saying, prejudice is in Christian. Clear that out. It's not that you're rebuking the Christ way, which is a sign, but you got to clear that out in order to accept the astrology. Because otherwise, the astrology is some entertainment thing. So, check this out. Through the Ten Commandments, the rulers of the rich live while the poor suffer and die. The Lamb is the poor people, the Lion is the rulers and the rich, who love truth, peace, fear, and justice. All men are one and equal to seek their own destiny and to worship under their own vine and fig tree. After the principles of the holy and divine laws of their forefathers, all nations of the earth in these modern days are seeking peace. But there is but one true and divine way that peace may be obtained in these days, and it is through love, truth, peace, fear, and justice, being taught universally to all nations in all lands. That's so that you can understand the beginning of Christianity and why it has nothing to do with you and you to give it back for what they have established it as. And then when you read the Indica Terra Divina, you see that they murder and kill in the name of their Christian religion, and that should have nothing to do with you. That's not love. The Christian crusaders, and then the institutionalized Christian religion that they forced upon the people. All right? So here's what it is. Christ is the Son. Is there a drawing real quick? Canton? Okay, well, I got it. But I don't have a marker real quick? Oh, there's a marker in a green round thing in that box. So we got, and but some people are visual, so I want to show you the visual. I know, some people are visuals. I found it to be true. Yes, in there's a marker, black. You know what? On YouTube, there's videos. I don't come up. I never watch any videos that I've ever done. I don't watch it. I never do. I think one time I watched one because my niece came over to watch it, but I don't, because then you get in, oh, I could have said that different. Oh, yeah, so don't do it, because it is what it is. It's done. But I trust that everyone else learns something from it. They might be watching me, too. Like, don't watch me. You got to watch yourself. But then again, watching what we grow with each other. What y'all say back there? Yeah, boy, because I'm growing, too. I'm growing and learning. You know, you want me to tell you some of my learning experience? I would love to share with you. It is what it is. You got to go through it, too, because that's how this thing works. It initiates. This is the season. Initiates. That begins the season. Immerse. That's those 6 times that are in the heart of the season, you know. There's 6. You initiate the beginning of a study or program or anything you're going to do. Then you immerse yourself in it, and then you get out of it what you want to get out of it, and then you move on, which is flex out. And that's all the signs are in all 3 quadrants. Initiate, begin the season, immerse the season, flex out. Initiate, begin the season, immerse the season, flex out. And if you're not rolling with that consciously, you are out of tune. So what they did to get you out of tune on this one is this. And I want to just draw this portion as a quadrant of this portion of what's happening. Okay, so this is Capricorn, which is initiating Capricorn, which is initiating the winter, right? Winter Solstice. Immersing Aquarius. Oh, and that'll be my last question. Someone just asked me about when the age of Aquarius. The sister asked me that last week, but I've been asked before, when is the age of Aquarius here? I want to tell you. And then Pisces, correct? And Pisces is the end sign, the end in the beginning, because if you're at the end, you've got to be at the beginning. If you're at the, that's why when stuff is happening in your life and you said, okay, I've had enough, or you want to change things, or you see that it needs to change, just look at it as it's the end for a new beginning. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. It just has to be accepted. That's all. All right. So Capricorn is the initiating sign, and then it's going into, this is the sun, though, and then it's going into Aquarius and then into Pisces, okay? Initiating, fix, and flex. Now, this right here is simple and repeats itself on every season. Just repeat itself. It's not complicated. Excuse me. This is really the sun. The sun traveling. It's going to Capricorn. The winter solstice. Solstice means stand. Stand. Stand still. Stand. Equal days, equal nights. Well, I'm sorry, not equal days, equal nights. That's the equal nights. The nights were prevailing, but weren't prevailing until after the 21st, which was yesterday, at 11-something p.m. Every day, you're going to gain 2 minutes of light, even though it's winter. You're going to gain 2 minutes of light because it's headed towards. This is the sun's movement that's happening. So it's hitting Capricorn, and it reflects the earth where not much is being grown on the earth. Right? That's why Capricorn people are called users. People think they use people, but they're not. They're resourceful because they know there's not much growing. And if they didn't heap enough to stay themselves through, whether you did or you didn't, that's the time of year it is. It's like, oh, shoot, I can't go and pick a vegetable because it's not there. You got one? Oh, man, why can't you get your own vegetables? You don't eat juices so much. No, I'm just trying to eat it. I ain't going to get one right now. Well, see, now because of this strange Atlantis returning, and how do we know when it's time for the Moors to rise or that they are rising? Because the weather will change. Did you know that? That the mentality of us rising is changing the weather to go back to the warmth, the way they found us. Damn near naked, they say, running around. We weren't naked, but you know, it was summertime all the time. It was tropical. It was now with the energy. But this cycle still doesn't change in your environment. But that's what's happening. So it's getting warmer because the more the energy is making it happen. Then you got something that's still bitching and complaining about stuff, not seeing what's really going down. What's really going down, really? Time to rise. All right. So here we are. The sun is here. It's resting. In 3 days, on the 25th, it's going to shoot out and go through its cycle. When it gets to Pisces, that's when it goes into what? Aries. Spring. The sun will be exalted. Ain't home yet, but it's exalted. Its home is in Leo, which is the summer solstice. Mm-hmm. So this keeps repeating itself. So how does it fare with you? How are you feeling? Let me just say this. Aquarius, when is it in? When you have received enough information and the waters of your womb swell and the new birth of you, because you have gotten enough information. It's here now because the information is rising. For you to have to ask that question means you ain't really on it. That's, to be honest with you, because it's information, and this is the information age. This is it. So when it's finished, it's individual and collective. The collective part is now here. Are you straight with the concept? Oh, I'm straight with my concept. Then we're in the same direction, and we can move forward. If not, we're not in the same direction, and therefore we cannot move forward. It doesn't matter whether I can help you or you can help me. We're not in the same direction, so we can't move forward. That's the rule. I'm not going to try to force it and make it happen. Neither are you. We all have to be in the same direction. Bottom of the pyramid, I started, you started. I couldn't see you, but as we rose, not only can we see each